We are recording now. Hi, friends. Welcome to a new edition of the Homegrown The Dollar Vigilante. Today I have my friend Sammy Kovac. Is that how you spell your name? Uh,
Yes, you can say Sammy or Samuel. Yes.
okay, great. So you are actually in Chapala, Mexico. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself first? Where are you from, and how long you've been where you're at right now?
Yes, I'm from Slovakia, from Central Europe. I moved here to Chapala with my wife 11 years ago. The reason for Mexico, or maybe even for this area, is my father, who came to live to Mexico 25 years ago, and he introduced us really to this area, which is famous. You know, the Lake Chapala is the biggest lake in Mexico, and this area is famous and popular among foreigners from different countries. So my father lived here in this area for a while, and then he moved to Puerto Vallarta because it seems he likes the ocean and the beach better than here. But we stay here, we work here, and we really love it here. It's probably one of the best places in Mexico.
That is pretty cool. And just throwing out a couple of fun facts about Chapala, Mexico. It's in Jalisco, which is a central state, and it's like you said, north of Lake Chapala, which is the largest freshwater lake in Mexico. And it has a population of about 43,000 people in that municipality. How do you like that? Is that too big or too small for you, or just right?
I'd say for me it's just right. You see, it comprises of different parts. We have Chapala, we have Ajijic, which is very nice. You can say village or a small town with a lot of artists and galleries and restaurants. I would say it's about right. It's actually in the shore of the Lake Chapala. Um, yeah.
So Ajijic is actually it's a good thing you mentioned it because I was going to ask you about it. That's a town of about 5,000 people, or actually, most of them are immigrants. Can you tell us a little bit about that place? Have you been there often, or how does that? How do you hear about it?
You see, it's like part of the whole area. So when you travel around Lake Chapala, you pass by Chapala, San Antonio, Ajijic. They are not really separated anymore. It's like a big area. Ajijic is very popular among foreigners and expats that live here. If I'm right, maybe 30, even 40 years ago, when the first immigrants came to live here, and they opened restaurants, they opened galleries, and things like that. And it's very quiet, very nice, very popular even among people from Guadalajara. Guadalajara is like the second biggest city in Mexico, and it's less than 1 hour drive from this area. So me myself, we go to Ajijic pretty often. The lake shore is very nice. It's recently renovated. You get food from different parts of the world, including maybe Thai, including great steaks, including Mexican, Italian, of course. So it's a pretty popular area, and the people know it as the Lake Chapala area. And they don't really do distinction like Chapala, San Antonio, you have different communities where most of the expats live. Yeah.
That's exciting to know. I've only been there about once, and I was pretty tiny, so I can't remember. I'm from Mexico. One of the things that Doug Casey, one of our friends, he talks about Mexico and Central and South America is it's immigrant nations. So people are able to just blend in really nicely. Is that your experience as well?
Uh, yes, I would say so. Actually, you see you have people here, for one, from all over the world, really. Like we are from Slovakia, which is a tiny country in Europe, but there are more people that have Slovak roots. There are people with Hungarian roots, a lot of Americans, Canadians, even people from South America, and they all blend in and they all communicate. And we have different shows. There's a small theater where you can participate, There is even a place that's called Lake Chapala Society, which is a special organization for expats that you can people can become members and they get different educational programs. They have conferences, they have iPad classes, tennis. It's really a very vibrant area where you can meet people from all over the world that find this area as their home. And also, I would say like the infrastructure and things like that are very good here. We have golf courses, we have tennis, we have thermal spa, we have movie theaters. Recently, there is a Walmart store even. So it's very comfortable place to live in. You know, many people ask about mm, hospitals and healthcare. So you find a lot of it here, and most of the the workers or the service personnel they speak English. It's like a second language here. It's which is not very common in other parts of Mexico, but because there are so many foreigners, the English is very frequent here, and things that you don't find here in the Lake Chapala area, you are certain to find in Guadalajara because it's so close and it's a huge city with all the greatest shopping malls, with an international airport that has direct flights like to Dallas or Houston. It's really, I think it's one of the maybe the best areas in Mexico to live in, and it's very quiet. It's not huge. It's not big area like other places.
That's great, and you get like the best of both worlds because you can be in a more intimate area, which is where you're staying, and if you want to have a little more action, you go to Guadalajara for the weekend and then come back. So that's pretty
Yes,
cool.
yes, that's what we do also. Like because there is no in Guadalajara you have Costco, you have Sam's Club, you have all the great places to go to eat or for nightlife. So maybe for like younger people like we are, it may be too quiet. So we often go to Guadalajara. But on the other hand, we have movie theaters recently. Well, it's a couple years now. We have even a small casino. So for people that don't want to drive, because they don't like the city because it's really crowded, they get also nice entertainment here.
That's wonderful. So you mentioned that there's like I was going to ask you about demographic. You mentioned several um, cultures and people from different countries. Um, the next question I was going to ask you: what is the cost of living? What does it cost, for instance, for like rent and meals? What does it cost you to buy a meal for you and your wife?
Sure. You see, we have different, I would say, levels of prices because there is this blend of like Mexican small town, which is Chapala, and then the high end different fraccionamientos and gated communities and really nice restaurants. So, for example, you can get a meal in a restaurant starting at maybe 100 pesos or 120, 30, depending which place you go. If you go to like a fancy steakhouse, there is one very famous in Ajijic, then of course the prices are higher. But many restaurants they get do specials for 80 pesos because they cater to different expats that maybe live on the social security income. And of course, you have the mercado, you have the market where you can get the same meals that Mexicans would get from, I'd say, 50 pesos per meal, but it's like a market setting. Everything is fresh, everything's like very traditional. But then you have really like high-end restaurants where you get food from all over Italian, steaks, Oriental, Mexican. So it's very different levels. And also the rent uh, depends where you would live. We have fraccionamientos like Racket Club, which is on the outskirts of Ajijic towards what's called Jocotepec, another city, another small town. And the rent there maybe thousand, even $2,000 per like month, but you rent like a house, maybe even with a small pool. And on the lower end, you have rents that start at 500 or so. Some of the expats they would live within the community of Chapala, within the city, surrounded by the local people. So you get rents maybe 500, maybe even less. Or in Riberas del Pilar, 6, 7, 800 pesos. It's very affordable here compared to Europe or US. The prices for the groceries, like you get fresh juice, fresh oranges every day. Everything is very very good here, and the prices are quite low, I would say, compared to the Western world. But it really caters to different population. So you have people, as I said, living in gated communities with private security, with pool and everything, and they pay maybe 2,000, and then you have people that live within the Mexican communities and they pay 500 US dollars the rent. So as I said, you have people from all over the world and from all over the different incomes or different possibilities.
That's pretty exciting. So what you're telling me is that there is opportunities for every budgets, to be able to live in this place. Anywhere from, I mean, eating at the mercado, it's not bad food because you mentioned, 50 pesos. That's like what, $3.50, and it's
Yeah.
amazingly fresh food. That it's mostly organic farmers that they bring their own stuff in the mercado de ruedas. Like every once or twice, a week, or maybe the stationary ones. So you get to eat really nicely for a very low cost. Is that correct?
Yes, I mean it's like a stationary market that every small town has here that works every day, and they really bring fresh vegetables and meat and everything every day. But we also have like farmers market that's a couple times a week. That's like for specialty organic food and different homemade meals and even artesanias, arts and crafts. That's like every Monday in one part, every Tuesday in other area. Yeah, so it's like a new trend, this farmers market. But of course, we have this typical Mexican daily market that you can go in and really have a fresh meal, freshly made every day.
That's wonderful. So, and then you have the multicultural kind of meals. Like you mentioned, Italian and steak and all that. So there's a little bit for everyone in Chapala, Mexico.
Exactly.
What are the business opportunities? Like if I wanted to go there, jobs, businesses, what does that look like?
Right. Well, the area here, for the foreigners, most, I would say, honestly, most the foreigners, they are retired here.
Hmm.
There are not many young foreigners that would work in this area, so they don't really look for jobs. But the job opportunities for foreigners here would be like the higher end, computer services, economic services. Very popular is travel services because the foreigners they like to know the Mexico, they want to travel a lot. Or very popular is also medical. There is, you have all this plastic surgery and diets and all this. So that's very popular for this area. But there are not many foreigners really working here. But then again, you have very close by, you have Guadalajara, where there are headquarters of different banks, different computer companies, different multinational companies. So it depends what would be the person's like orientation, because I mean to start a business in Guadalajara there are huge opportunities in different areas, in restaurants, again in the IT. Yeah, it really depends. Like for example, I work with Bitcoin and in the trading, and I also work with computers. So that there was an area that's very good for this area because many people have computer problems. Many people are looking for investments, for help. So that will be like the for this area the work you can apply for, like to cater to maybe retired people. Fitness coach, tennis trainer, things like that. Most people that come here they don't work, but they need good services, for a nice retirement.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So more like amenities and yoga and all those things. That's a great idea. So when
Yoga.
what are some fun things to do in that area? You mentioned the lake, so automatically all the water sports there because that's such a big lake. What else is there to do? You mentioned a movie theater.
Sure, yeah, we actually have two movie theaters with even 3D movies. We have a hot thermal spa in an area that's called San Juan Cosala. We have golf, we have tennis, we have different cultural activities like there's a choir that you can join choir if you want to sing. You can join a small like community-made theater and try to be an actor. Um, yeah, all these things like you'd say yoga, personal improvement, like different how can I say the word, different classes for even arts and crafts, different classes for computers, for iPad, for psychology. Yeah, it's amazing that a small area like this, there is so much variety for your entertainment or for your activities and your like self improvement or yeah.
That's exciting. That's pretty cool. I really appreciate this. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about that place?
Yeah, maybe one more thing that's interesting that there are community works or community clubs that, on the other hand, try to help the local community. There are people that teach English to Mexican kids free of cost. People that help them, get better in like personal skills or handyman skills. Um, so on the other hand, the people that live here, they try to bring back things to the community, like helping the local people. There is, as I said, a small theater. Yeah, things like that. That people that feel they want to help. There is the organic club. There is like a wildlife preservation club, lake support group because the lake had troubles at certain time. So there are people that try to help clean the lake, and there's this trouble with Guadalajara taking all our water and things like that. So there are a lot of even things you can be active in the community.
That
So
sounds really exciting. That's such a cool place and fun place to live at.
yeah, we really like it. Yeah, and it's quiet. It's not all the smog and all the cars that you have in Guadalajara. Yeah.
That's pretty great. And I guess I was going to ask you one last thing. How is it for children? Are there like several schools, and what does that look like?
For children, sure. Well, we don't have children with my wife, but we know that there are bilingual schools for children that that want to learn English as their second language, or for children of the foreigners. So there are quite a few schools. Some of them are bilingual. There is even a technological institute for Mexican children. So this is also quite okay. But the universities, you would have to go to Guadalajara for like higher education. But of course, the options in Guadalajara are perfect. Having the UDG, the famous Guadalajaran school, and also sucursales or like the campuses of different universities, technical from Monterrey and others. So it's really nice and it's really multicultural, especially here in Chapala.
Thank you so much for your time. This was such a wonderful interview. I'm sure a lot of our readers will find it really enlightening.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and thanks for your time as well.
Thank you. Have a great night, my friend.
Thank you. You too. Good night.